All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started because again, we're recording it. So again, if you or someone you know, if you're not able to make the whole webinar, or if you know someone who wanted to but couldn't, we'll send that link out. And if you happen to miss it, feel free to hit me. Again, it's ashley.carter@syncsystems.com. I'm the brand specialist here, part of the amazing marketing team. I'm not going to spend too much time. This is the second installment of our webinar series, Unique to CINC, where we highlight things that, only CINC offers, what makes us unique, and why it's important to you. Um, Today, we have the pleasure of having Bonnie. She is the implementation operation manager, and she's an integral part of CINC. I'm going to let her elaborate more on her role and what that means for you and to us here at CINC. And without further ado, Bonnie, take it away.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've really enjoyed working here at CINC, and part of the reason is data. I'm a geek at heart, and me and my team, we're all geeks at heart, which makes a very good something very good and profitable for your team. We stand out from the competition because we have this data group that really gets in there and transforms the data from your existing platform into CINC. And we know you have other things that you want to do, including run a business. That's really important and an integral piece of what you do. Therefore, we've got this team of data engineers so you can stay on task. We're here to make sure that your data is seamlessly migrated into CINC, where you'll be able to immediately utilize and view the data once it gets into the application. And you won't find this in most other companies. It's really because we keep our customers' data very close and at the forefront of our business. Some of the things that we do is we focus on the practical application of the data collection and analysis by collecting and validating your data sets. We realize that you've spent many years building this data set, and we want to take care of it. So things that we look at is data integrity. We work with your team of experts to identify where your data is located. Just because somebody has one installation or another doesn't mean it's the same as your competitors or your peers. And so we work with your team of experts to pull this data out and identify what might not be needed when an association is no longer part of your company. Maybe you're bringing on a new association. So we make sure to get that information in our data sets. We also want to make sure to minimize the disruption to your workday. We realize that going onto a new system or a new platform really does take a lot of work. So our intent is to make sure that we minimize that process on your part, but it doesn't mean we're not taking care of you, because we are here to make sure that we take care of that code repository that you've been building for the past several years. We use various techniques to format the large data sets and make sure that it gets validated along the way. We also have that ease of transition to help go from an old system to our system, because we can efficiently extract, transform, or scrub and load your existing data. That way you're able to focus more time on your business and take that task off of your plate. So we've been very successful in transforming data into CINC many years. And one of the first things that we do is we connect with your group. We want to interview and talk with the users of the data. That way it'll help us focus on the necessary information. Again, we don't want to collect the unnecessary data, and we don't want to waste time and resources. Our team has seen the majority of the property management software that's out there. So we're really familiar with the software and where to go to get the data that we're pulling out. And we can use reports, we can go into the databases, we can use different forms within each application. And again, each application is different. So we've got a team of experts that really watch and learn from prior customers and also from yours. So we make sure to keep our ties with you. And if we want to talk about our process, how we actually extract, transform, and load those data sets, I've broken it down into five steps. Pulling data sets. In that step, we team up with your experts again, and we learn where that data lies. Not every implementation of QuickBooks or GenArc includes homeowner addresses, and we've noticed that sometimes the property address isn't even in the data set, which is very something that we correct along the way. And then that leads us to part of that analytical process that we perform with your group. We ask questions, make sure that we know what's going on. And then we look and find out where your data maybe is lacking. Maybe we can reorganize some of your fields. We need to find where your data lines up, make sure that phone numbers and email addresses are in the correct locations, and making sure that the formatting of those is consistent. And then that leads us to that data scrubbing task. Sometimes we found that Sparky's email address isn't really an email address, it's a website address, so we make sure to get that information into the website data set. Or the address included in the data set is really a range of addresses, such as 100 to 110 Main Street, when it should really be 100 Main Street, 102 Main Street, etc. So once we've gone through and scrubbed that data, it's time to streamline the information and prepare it for the data load. And that is really putting it in different columns. If you want to think of an Excel spreadsheet, putting all of the property addresses in one column, putting the number of the street in another column, putting the unit in another column, putting the city, the state, all in different columns. And I can go on and on. But anyway, this is where a lot of the magic happens. We've got VBA scripts, we've got Python scripts that we utilize, and if we find that we need to build a new one, you bet we're building a new one to make sure that your data is all correct. Then that data set is loaded into CINC, and I think you'll be really amazed and surprised at how all of that data that you once had in an old system is now presented and beautiful in CINC. So when we look at pulling data from your existing system, again, a lot of what I just went over, we make sure to identify how we will access your application. So if I needed to reach out to Ashley, Ashley and I would be connecting and talking about how we're going to access that application. Are you going to share a login with us? Are we going to receive a new login? Or sometimes, the company prefers, the customer prefers to do some internal data pulls, and we'll help guide you with that as well. And then once we identify how we're getting into the application or the data, then we'll determine how to best export the data. Again, sometimes it's with a Microsoft Access data file. We can get those Microsoft files sent, or generating new or existing report set. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes an Excel file happens. Sometimes it's somebody writing down the data. We've had that as well. And then we'll go through and we'll scrub that data set like we just talked about, and leveraging our internal knowledge. Now, with all of this, we totally realize that your time and your data matters, and we're constantly improving our library of SQL scripts and code and data analysis to help your team ease into CINC. And I think you'll really find that it's a really good and smooth experience, and hopefully we're a big part of that reason. So we're here because we realize how important your time and your data is. And if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them. Hopefully that explains a lot of the process without going into too much detail, because I know us geeks sometimes tend to do that.
So we do have one question. We usually don't do a Q&A, but because we have a good amount of time left here, Mark B would like to know, when we onboard a new client, can we import their historical data from QB or TOPS into CINC?
We can import data. It depends on what kind of historical data you're talking about. Some of the historical Oracle accounting data, no, but we definitely make sure to get homeowner data and some billing information over into CINC.
Cool. I don't see any more questions. So if you guys have questions, we can't answer like a ton, but if there's like one or two, I will, I see a hand raise. If you could pop it into the Q&A box down here. Like I said, I'll give everybody a brief moment to just type in. Francine would like to know, will FTP be required for the migration?
No, FTPs are not required. That we have more of a human touch to where we go in and we actually access the your application. So whether it's whatever application that is, say it's QuickBooks, we can use a login to QuickBooks and actually but we know where to go in QuickBooks to access data and what reports to pull as well. So no FTP needed if that's not something that you're interested in.
I'm not seeing any more questions. I don't want to hold us all here for too long, but the good part is, guys, we're really accessible folks. I know a good number of people in here are already customers or clients of CINC, so you know where to find us. Actually, oh, David, you squoze it in. You got me. Not a question for the group, but I have 20 new associations and I'm new to CINC. I didn't get an answer. David, like I said, the beautiful thing is we are really accessible people. I'm not sure who you reached out to, but you can reach out to me, ashley.carter@cincsystems.com, and I will route you to the appropriate person. Yeah, so that should answer that. Mark will do. Mark will have somebody reach out to you. Again, if you're already a customer of CINC, you can reach out to your account success manager. If there's any confusion on who that is, let's say you're a new customer and you're kind of just now onboarding, feel free to just reach out to any of us and we will all reroute you to the right person. If you're considering CINC, you can go to www.cincsystems with an S, obviously here, /request a demo, and we will pop you over to the right person and yeah, get you where you need to be. But I want to thank Bonnie so much for making time to pop in and just, drop a little info for the people. And again, if you have any questions, cincsystems.com or myself, and you guys, we're going to get you back to your day. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. We're doing this every Tuesday at 2 p.m. up until I believe September 20th is the last one. If you go to cincsystems.com /unique, you can find the schedule for the remaining ones. We actually have a bonus one coming up, so make sure you stay tuned and chime back in because we have one bonus awesome one for you September 20th. So check back for that. But yeah, we'll see you guys here next Tuesday, 2 p.m. Eastern for the rest of Unique to CINC.